All right, this video is going to talk about Porsche PDCC, or the Porsche Dynamic Chassis Control. It's a feature that if you have it, Porsche recommends that it be serviced every 6 years or 60,000 miles. Primary service on that is replacing the fluid reservoir. You replace the reservoir because there's an internal filter there, and by swapping out the reservoir, you're changing out a small portion of fluid, but primarily the goal is to swap out the filter that's built inside the reservoir. I will show you where that reservoir is supposed to be located if you have that system. My car does not have it, so I'll be able to show you an example of a car that you think should have it but doesn't, and I'll be able to show you what it looks like when you don't have it. The reason why that might sound weird, but it makes a difference, is because it seems to be a thought out in the Porsche world that if you have the PASM or Porsche Active Suspension Management, that you automatically will also have PDCC. And my car is an example where that's not true. I do have PASM, Active Suspension Management, where your shocks can stiffen and change. There's a little shock symbol button that'll be on your console for that. I do have that feature, but I don't have PDCC. I'll show you what you should look for to know whether you do have PDCC. First thing you want to do is you're going to want to put your car into service mode. Get access to your oil filter and such. Yeah, right, so that means you got to pull this in a ring. If you've never done this before, this is for you. If you have, bear with me. You pull that inner ring out so that this becomes flexible. This is snapped in. I've loosened it already. It doesn't come out this easy normally. But you can see that there are pins here that guide to those pins. And then, of course, to the back, there's some little connectors here, one on this side and one on this side, that you'll need to unsnap those. And then it comes off. And then after that, you're going to need to pull the intake manifold here, which I've kind of loosened it already as well. But it's got little pins that go into rubber boots here, and you just unsnap those pins and your intake manifold comes off. And now you'll be able to see down inside there. Okay, so when you're looking down in there now, and where the light is shining, right there to the left of the intake here, you would have a reservoir right there with a cap on it that looks kind of like a brake reservoir cap kind of a deal. But there would be a pump with a reservoir right here in this empty spot where there's kind of sadly nothing in between the alternator, which is there. Let's see, there you go. You can kind of see the alternator down there where my light's shining on. And there, anyway, there, that empty spot is where the pump would be. Now, when you don't have PDCC, obviously you don't have the pump or the reservoir, but what you do have is an idler pulley. Okay, so where my finger is right there, there's a pulley there. You can kind of see the back side of the pulley. And you'll just have an idler pulley there and no pump and reservoir where you would otherwise have it. So that's how you know from looking up top. Well, if getting under the car is easier for you, then there's a way to tell there. Let me show you that. Right, my light's on the sway bar there, the end. And then there's the end link going up and down here. And if I had PDCC, instead of that end link that I have, there would be an actuator there. The actuator is an active device, sort of looks like a baby shock absorber, but it'll have two hydraulic hoses going to it, which is the PDCC fluid, which is the CHF fluid. If you've got an end link like what I've got, then you've got just a standard sway bar setup, and you do not have PDCC.